Hey Guildies, MOXHUMAN here. Today we're starting our series on Heroic Wrathion. Hopefully these short guides will give you an early introduction to the encounters to make it a little easier to follow along with what's happening within the raid. Our first boss in Nyalotha is Wrathion the Black Prince. Now, the first thing we have to get out of the way with this encounter is Wrathion is a dragon style encounter. That means that the tanks need to position the boss to one side, and the party needs to attack the dragons from the dragon's side. Do not stand behind or in front of the boss. If you're behind Wrathion, he's going to tail swipe you for significant damage, and if you're in front of Wrathion, you'll get hit by the tank mechanic Searing Breath and probably die. Now, Searing Breath does moderate burst damage and applies a stacking debuff, which for the next 20 seconds does some ticking damage and increases the damage you receive from subsequent Searing Breaths by 80%. Once you hit by a second Searing Breath, it's time for the other tank to taunt the boss, so that way you can drop your stacks. Now, for the DPS and healer players out there, Wrathion is going to randomly hit a few of you with Incinerate. This is a big ol' swirly debuff that does moderate tick damage until it explodes, where it does AoE damage in a large area around it. If you get this debuff, move away from the raid, making sure to not be in range of the tail or the breath attack. Wrathion will continue to do this alternating Incinerate and Swirly Boys and Searing Breath until he casts Gale Blast. This is a large swirling fire mechanic around the boss. Players need to quickly get out of the swirl. Players in the swirl are hit by heavy burst damage. Players not in the swirl are only hit by moderate burst damage. DPS players, as the swirl is ending, hit a defensive cooldown. It will make the lives of your healers a little easier. Healers, keep a close eye right before the swirl to make sure nobody is going to be one-shot by the damage at the end of the swirl. Once the swirl ends, the boss is going to drop some swirlies on some specific players. You'll need to step out of these or you're going to get hit by a fireball which does AoE damage. It's fairly easy to dodge, but be mindful if you use your dash to escape the AoE, you won't have your dash up to escape the swirly boy on the ground. At 1 minute into the fight, Wrathion will vanish into a cloud of orange smoke and travel to one of the corners of the room. The entire raid, as soon as he vanishes, need to begin moving to the opposite side of the room. Wrathion's going to spew some lava onto the floor, leaving only a very small area not on fire. After a few seconds, the lava will dissipate. This gives you time to take a quick mana break of about 5 seconds. After the lava dissipates, the boss will repeat phase 1 one more time, and then enter phase 2. In phase 2, as soon as the lava dissipates, the lava will raise huge spikes from the ground. DPS, your job is to get to the closest spike, burst it down, and continue bursting and AoEing each spike down on your way back to the boss. Any spikes still left at the end of the 1 minute will turn into permanent lava pools on the ground and apply a stacking damage debuff to the raid. Additionally, Wrathion will slowly drop 3 scales to the ground. These need to be soaked by one player, who will get a small damage debuff, but gets the ability to destroy any spike they run through, and the debuff will reset each time you destroy a spike this way. Healers, pay attention to has this debuff on them, as they're going to take some significant tick damage over the duration, but all in all, a fairly easy mechanic to deal with. Now, tanks, your job during phase 2 is to run between the spikes and find stealth assassins. The assassins, once they have been de-stealthed, are not at all scary, but until you uncloak them, they're going to apply a 10-second stun to a random character in the raid, or do a large burst ambush attack, which is deadly enough that it can one-shot healers, although most people in this raid are going to be geared enough that it's not going to be an issue. Once the three assassins have been uncovered, simply kite them with the spikes so that the players can cleave onto them while they're DPSing down the spikes. After that, we simply rinse and repeat phase 1, and then if we get to it, we repeat phase 2. All in all, Wrathion's a pretty fun fight, fairly easy with most groups clearing it on their first shot. Thank you for watching. I'm MOXHUMAN, and if you have any questions, drop me a comment below.